Alright guys, I'm back. Ready to start the Ganzo giveaway knife number 2. I got Aiden with me here as usual, helping me out, being my best buddy. Want to say hi?
Hi.
Good job. So, I know in the last giveaway video I said I was going to start with one of the Griptilian clones, but I've been carrying around the Nonslaught a lot these days, just to kind of get a feel for it. Sort of developing my ideas for what we're going to do with this particular knife. And I decided I want to stick with this one for now and work on this. And I've got some ideas. The thing I've always loved about the shape of the Benchmade Onslaught was that it's sort of like, I don't know, dragony, animal-like. Might sound a little weird, but that's kind of the feeling I get from it all the time. I've never had a mini Onslaught, but I have 2 full-size Onslaughts. And I just really like the design of it. One thing I've not been crazy about is this swedge up on the top. I'm thinking of doing something with it. We're not going to get rid of it, but we're going to do something with it grind-wise. These handles definitely need to work with a little bit, and then I'm going to replace the clip. Probably going to give it a nice backspacer. This time I think I'm going to make it extend out from the frame and give you some kind of grip and texture. One of the biggest differences between the real Benchmade Mini Onslaught, because I've worked on them, I've just never owned them, is that the steel liners in the Benchmade have lightning holes drilled all through them to make it a lighter carry. It also gives good potential for some cool stuff you could do with the designs. So I think what I'm going to do is first I'm going to disassemble this thing and I'm going to drill some holes in these steel liners here. Big holes, not little ones, so that we have some kind of light flowing through from one side to the other. What I'm planning to do and thinking about right now, everybody wants some glow-in-the-dark. I think this is going to be the first one where we introduce a glow-in-the-dark element. So I've got a few different options. The first is the standard glow powder that we can add to epoxy, which does glow really, really well if you mix it in the right quantities. Sometimes it's just easier and nicer to work with glow-in-the-dark material. So, Moon Glow is kind of the one that everybody knows, and Moon Glow is great. Super expensive though, and the truth is, Kiranite puts out some glow-in-the-dark material that is as good, if not better. So they've got their standard glow-in-the-dark, which is, you know, that greenish glow, and I have some of that, but they've put out a relatively new product that they call Starlight. Starlight is really cool because it has color during daylight and it glows really nice at night. So this is just standard Starlight. This is, you know, basic glow-in-the-dark kind of material. It has a greenish yellowish glow. I got a pair of these neon green Starlight scales. So they're neon green in daylight and they glow really bright green, which is really cool. And I think that for the shape and when I'm talking about sort of dragon reptile-y work that I'm thinking about doing on this, a neon green scale would be great. Plus, it glows in the dark. Then they have just a blue glow-in-the-dark material. I have a big sheet of this. This is just sort of a white standard material. It glows blue. It's not as intense a glow, though, as the green is. If you want to get into the beeps and squeaks of it, if you guys, I don't know, blue laser versus green laser, the wavelength of the light is just brighter and more intense, blah, 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 blah. So the blue never glows as bright and as intensely as the green. But I'm thinking it might be great for a backspacer, a little more subtle, to go with the green glow. Lots of different options, though. I'm just kind of still working in my head what I want to combine with the green. I know I want to do glow-in-the-dark. So I thought about maybe doing, this is, I don't know if you can catch it on camera, this is textured jade. It's got a rough texture to it, peel and ply. So we could put that kind of as the bolster part to make sure you get a good grip. This material is kind of slick, and depending on how we choose to finish it, I think what I'm going to do is put the old G10 reptile pattern into that to go with the shape of the knife. But I'm still working with ideas, but we could do that and that would give it a little bit of grippiness over there. In any case, I think that I'm going to use this forest green liner as the backing material when we composite the scales together. So maybe something in the neighborhood looking like that. I don't know. But what I know is I need to start taking the knife apart. I need to drill the holes into the liners. I need to do some work on the blade. Everybody really liked the acid wash look. I think I'm going to go with the acid wash again, but with a few twists in it. And you'll see how that turns out when I decide what exactly I'm going to do. But I'm definitely going to do some grinding on the blade to reprofile a little bit and just give it a slightly different look. One of the things I really love is Mixed Rider on some of his customs has what he calls the dragon scale grind. Or is it the dragon's tooth? I'm not sure, I can't remember. But I've played with that with some knives, and I think it looks really good. So I'll probably do that in the blade, and that will tie that into the sort of reptile-y, dragonish look that we're going to do with the rest. And then with a nice acid wash, I think it'll look pretty good. So I'm going to get to work taking this thing apart. I'm going to start drilling those holes in the scales, and then we'll come back together and figure out what we're going to do for a scale. All right, so I'm done with the majority of the work on the knife itself. So mental note, I did not have metal cutting bits in my drill press at all. So I started to do this, and I just used the scales as a guide so that I could kind of figure out where I wanted the holes to show in the scales that we're going to make. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to pick up some good steel cutting bits probably this week and then be able to finish that off. So I just kind of put a hold on that. What I started working on was kind of giving a new profile and shape to the handle. And just refer back a couple seconds, you know, in the past in the video, and you'll see sort of the old shape. This choil here was already there. I put another one in just to make the fingers wrap around really easy, and then I did a little bit of reprofiling and reshaping on the back of the handle. This, to me anyway, this fits in your hand really, really nice. And it was a good knife anyway, but it's even more comfortable now. And it has a different look. It's very unique. I thinned that part out a little bit, and then I'm really happy with the way that this feels in the hand right now. For the blade, I gave that dragon scale, dragon tooth, whatever we're calling it, just kind of a little bit of grind. Not as subtle as I had originally intended, but I think it looks pretty good. You're going to see some marring on the blade, and that's whatever. That's going to go with the acid wash. Don't worry about it. Slight reprofiling there of the tip, just to give it a little downward kind of swedge at the end that wasn't there before. I thought it went well with the shaping here. Put another nice indentation right there, because your thumb just falls on that naturally, and I think it feels pretty good. And if you want to have some really good control of the blade for whatever reason, it looks nice. So it gives it a different profile, and it also kind of works functionally as well. So now I've got to disassemble the whole thing. Once again, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do specifically for the acid wash on the blade. I think when it's all finished, you're going to see some more grinding and acid wash on the liners as well to make it look cool. I have a plan. We'll see how it all works out. And I will have those holes finished. But in the meantime, before I do all that, because I'm not ready to go to those lengths right now, let's go ahead and work on the scales. Okay, so you're going to hear American Horror Story in the background, and that's just a sacrifice we're all going to have to make right now. Anyway, so came up with the final design here. We're going to use clear c-tek, and I've cut some channels in there where we're going to put some glow powder and epoxy. It's going to match up with the Kieranite Starlight pieces. Use a super bright flashlight here to show you. So basically, green glow powder is going to match pretty well with the Kieranite there, to have some deep channels of glowing, and then we're gonna kind of use epoxy with the glow powder lightly, so there'll be like a faint glow underneath there. So everything will end up glowing. I think it'll look really, really nice for the look that we're going for. So here's kind of the final product. So this is kind of an idea of what the scale is going to look like. I'm just charging up the glow in the dark stuff here, and it's bright enough that you can see it even with the light on. So the color green kind of matches, a little darker, not quite as bright as that, but it'll sort of look like it flows from one right into the other. So here's an in the dark view just to show you what this is going to look like kind of. I just took these outside for a few minutes to let some natural sunlight get at them. That's always the best way to charge glow in the dark stuff. You can see that the Starlight is just super bright green. The kind of pathways we made are not as bright, but the color kind of matches a little bit, and it looks really nice. I varied the depth up in these channels, so there are some areas that are brighter because they have more glow material, some that are not. So it looks very rough, very kind of, random almost. I don't know if it's coming out on this, but so in these areas without the glow channels, there's just the faintest glow. It's probably not, because this brightness is probably overpowering what you're seeing over there. But so the next step, well, let me get back into daylight before we talk about the next step. So I need to clean the pieces up just a little bit, but this is kind of what it ended up being. So it's almost kind of like a lightning kind of pattern coming out of the main glow-in-the-dark piece. And it doesn't look very impressive yet, but when it's all done, it'll look really cool when we have everything shaped and positioned in there. So progress we've got so far. Finally figured out, with the help of my brand new partner in crime, who you all will meet very soon. And I think you're going to be very impressed with her talents and skills and general awesomeness. But take a look at this. So, did the acid wash on the blade, and I used the nail polish to sort of give a very similar to what we have going on with the scales finish on the blade. So what I think is a really nice acid wash with just a little bit of buffing with 400 grit sandpaper, just to kind of bring out some of the details on the edges and everything. Give it almost an acid stone wash look without going through the ass pain of a stone wash. But then you still have those really nice unblemished, unetched areas around the edge and all over the flat of the blade. And that's just really awesome looking. And kind of, if the light is catching it right as I move it around the camera, kind of you can see different, it just almost like an illusion of what's etched and what's not as the light hits it. So this came out really, really nice. And I think that when we combine that with the actual scales, that's going to be a great look. And if you don't think so right now, give me a chance. Let me work my magic on this, and we'll see how it comes out. But that is pretty good, and we're going to do something similar to that to the liners once we're done with everything. But still have a lot of work to do. So I'm going to leave this video there. So anybody who has already entered the other video giveaway whose name was not selected, you guys are still entered. You can enter again by commenting on this video with any other suggestions, what you think of what's going on so far. If you like it, if you don't like it, tell me. Say, hey, that sucks because, we won't do that again. But I have a feeling you guys are really going to like this when it's all done. If you have ideas of what kind of patterns to grind into here, or what to do with the backspace or whatever, you guys know the rules. All you got to do is comment on this, and that's another entry into the giveaway for when we do the giveaway video there. Okay? All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I got a lot of work to do, but I appreciate you all sticking with me through all these fun videos and everything, and I'll be back again real soon.